BoneLab has unsolved mysteries and creepy things to this day. Let's have a look at some of the community's strangest findings. Starting with the BodyLog machines, which are a great addition to the game. But if you look at the bottom left, you notice this strange logo that appears to be from the SCP universe. It's a warning that this is an unsafe area, and it's on all the BodyLog machines. The SCP symbols are all over Boneworks. The symbol's also on the astronaut on the main menu drawing. It's speculated that it's a message from someone known as the Wanderer, who's trying to warn you. If you're flying around in the first BoneLab mission, you'll come across this wall in the corner that just seems a little bit off. If you no-clip through, you don't even see anything. Luckily, the community realized if you climb all the way up, it seems to magically open, revealing this purple-like room with a portal in the middle. The writing on the wall seems to imply there's some way out of the simulation through the portal, but when you no-clip through it, there's just nothing there. We know BoneLab has lots of secret rooms, but this one just seems very bizarre, and we never got an explanation as to why it's there. If you jump all the way down, there's a hidden shotgun under here. It looks like a shipping container fell off and somebody hid it under there, or they dropped it while climbing up to the hidden room. Luckily, they put an elevator there for you to get back up. It seems quite strange how detailed this area is. Whether it's cut content or some kind of future update, I guess we won't know for the moment. I'd love to hear your theories below. Throughout the game, there are radios planted everywhere, with Jimmy going on ramblings. However, YouTuber Orb found there are cut broadcasts in the game files. The broadcast contains a man from Fantasyland who begins to notice that things aren't quite what they seem.
Okay, where do we start? We start with the vans, the monogon vans. You see them around town, right? White vans, guys in gray jumpsuits behind the wheel claiming they're studying weather and magnetic patterns in the atmosphere, right? I started tracking them one day, just for fun. I learned their patterns, learned how many of them there are, where they go, what time of day, all of it, and the more I looked, the creepier it got. For example, van A8129 pulled up in front of my house at 2:06 p.m. every day. 2:06 exactly. I stole one of them. I tricked the driver into helping me with a spare tire, then I just took off with it. Drove for an hour out of town. Nobody came for me. I checked into a motel, I kept waiting for the heat, but nope. Finally, I fell asleep for 2 seconds, and when I woke up, boom! Back in my house, van back to its owner like nothing happened. Now that does not happen.
After driving for a very long time, he wakes up back in his bed, realizing he's most likely in a simulation. We aren't sure why this is in the game or why they changed it. I guess we may never know.
I tried to take another van, and guess what? No steering wheel. No gas pedals. Swear to God, the gray suit guy just pantomized driving as the van goes up and down the block. It's hilarious. His hands aren't on anything. How's he driving? The trees. Look at the trees. Every single tree in this town is between 2 and 4 meters. I don't know what's more discouraging, the evidence that the reality you're trapped in isn't very real, or the fact that it's such a piss poor simulation. It's just shoddy, man. All right, you're listening to the 98.6 WCCK Dead FM Road Warrior Edition, and this is Jay reminding you that you gotta dig down through the cover downs, find the truth. Just reach out your hand and what you're looking for will come right to you. Like my new friend here. What's your name, new friend?
I'd love to hear your theories on what they were going to use this for below. While going through Big Anomaly, if you take a closer look at this wall, you notice half a poster, and there also seems to be half a desk stuck inside the wall. No clipping through gives us a better look that they put some kind of secret room here. There's absolutely no clue to the purpose of this room, other than there seems to be some kind of door on this side of it. It goes completely unexplained, but it's there. One of the coolest new features in BoneLab were mirrors. Mirrors in most games are just inverted cameras with screens, but in BoneLab they appear to be parallel universes. You can go into them and see everything inverted. The rules of interaction when you're in one seem very bizarre. Your body just seems to no-clip through everything. The real question is, why did they make the mirrors like this? There's some suspicion in the community, therefore trapping shape-shifting void entities. Something with no explanation is Brandon mentioning something about Ice House that could be data mined from the game files, possibly hinting at an ice map in the next update or game. Upon first glance, the strong avatar seems completely normal, But if you take a look a bit closer, you notice some strange tattoos on his arm. They're from Stress Level Zero's earlier game, Duck Season, where in 1988, a boy David's mother rents him the popular game Duck Season for one day.
So make the most of it.
Oh, I will!
You play the game shooting ducks, but as you keep playing, things seem very, very off. When you look a bit closer, you notice there's a dog in the family portraits on the wall, and the dog seems to be trying to escape from the game world into real life. Then, with a news broadcast mentioning there's been a series of murders in the area, you get a feeling something terrible is going to happen.
Asking for the public's help in solving the mystery behind the disappearance of several families from the Tri-County area. If you know anything, please pick up your phone and dial 911 immediately.
And while your mum is in the kitchen, the dog brutally murders her with a knife. It turns out the dog is a demonic cryptid. There's different endings, but in the canon one, you manage to kill the dog, trapping it in the game. David the kid realizes that no one will believe the dog murdered his mother, so he packs up his bags and leaves his home and the past behind him. You'll notice there's a tattoo of his mum, the pizza, the game console, and even the Saber Lake logo. The strong avatar appears to be a grown-up version of David. He must have been cloned into Fantasyland. At the beginning of BoneLab, the citizens of Heaven's Reach hang you. When you escape, you fall into the abyss. When you look down, you notice you've landed on a pile of rotting dead corpses. It's extremely creepy and eerie just how many people the citizens have executed. The bodies have even been mummified. When you light the room up, you get a much better scale of what's happening. But why are they being executed? It's made pretty clear that it's because you broke one of the many rules they have listed on this plaque. Some of the rules seem very authoritarian, mentioning you're not allowed to leave the area or question any of the rules they have. It seems Monogon created Fantasyland, a medieval simulation, and was supplying it using an underground network of tunnels, which have doors leading to MythOS. But the sentient elders rebelled and kicked Monogon out of their simulation. But why did they rebel? When you're going through the tunnels, you notice a clipboard mentioning entities have been stuck here for a very, very long time, and start hearing strange noises. You then notice there are skeletons tied and locked up who appear to be stuck here. You notice they've been here for a very long time as their flesh has completely rotted off. Unable to die or escape, they were sent down by the elders of Fantasyland to explore the underground caverns. But it seems the Monogon employees began doing strange experiments on them. By reading one of the clipboards, it seems like they were playing with necromancy and summoning the dead with magic. Fantasyland's AI seemed to go completely conscious and became more aware of their surroundings. The Monogon employees then attempted to completely seal this shut from the rest of the simulation. I tried helping the skeleton escape, but it just seems completely stuck. It's horrifying to think they have been trapped here for so long with nothing to do, just left there to suffer. When you finish the level LongRun, you walk through and then you magically get teleported into Mind Dive. But when you look back, there's a door there that wasn't there before you teleported. Did they just forget to remove it, or are they trying to reference something else? You can no-clip into the teleport room, and the first thing I noticed are the missing buildings and weirdly the doors represented just off to the side. If you no-clip through the door, there's just a small platform and then a complete void of darkness. After Stress Level Zero made Duck Season, their next game was set to be Hall of the Machine King, which takes place in a remote mining facility where the robots have become self-aware and rise up. Safety Steve is the character you play as, which can be seen in the early Boneworks teasers. The game was too big, so they turned it into Dead FM, which was also panning out to be too big. We know that Hall of the Machine King takes place in the abandoned mining facility, so Mind Dive seems awfully similar to that game. And the Saber Lake logo from the Hall of Machine King poster is everywhere on the map. There's also lots of references to cryptids on the posters. Is it possible that Mind Dive's using lots of assets from Hall of the Machine King? Strangely as well in Mind Dive, there's this random area on top of one of the buildings which has this quarantine sliding door. I always find it suspicious when there's lots of details in something the player is never going to see. And if you no-clip behind it, it's much bigger than it originally seemed. In the mission, you don't ever get out of your cart, but if you do get out of your cart and no clip around, you'll find these exit doors littered all over the map. The doors even have little areas behind them. It seems very strange. Why would they be there if you can't ever see them? If you look in the SkyBox, there's this glowing light on top of the mountain. I'd love to hear what you guys think this glowing light is. It could be the Hall of the Machine King monster. At the end of the game, Jimmy picks you up and takes you to the main menu. The car references that he can take you into the void and to several of the other Stress Level 0 games. And if you look closely, it's heavily implying their next game will be a Boneworks sequel, saying, "Have you lost your ID?" and it's Arthur Ford's ID. After Boneworks, Stress Level 0 began working on a sequel called Project 4, but the tech wasn't ready for it yet, so they made BoneLab. So it seems like Project 4 is B-side. There's a reference to it on the top of the main menu. It's apparently a successor to Boneworks. Based on everything we've heard, it seems the next game will be B-side, followed by Hall of the Machine King, and then Dead FM. As soon as you get out, he just drives off. Since there's so many references to a Boneworks sequel on the car, I was wondering where he actually went to. So I attached a camera and followed him around. Unfortunately, I realized he just drives around in a circle until you go to another level. But he does mention we'll have to fight a boss in the next game.
It may look peaceful out here, but it isn't. There's something hostile out there. It's been here a while. It's got a head start on us.
Some kind of evil cryptid. Do you think it could be the dog or the Hall of the Machine King boss? Riot, the music producer, mentioned there'd be a reference to Dead FM at the end of the game, and it appears they're referencing the dog went into Dead FM. BoneLab was released 1 month before the Quest Pro was announced, which makes it a bit suspicious the Quest Pro controller shows up on one of the posters. If you look at the cameras, it's definitely the Quest Pro controller. It seems they accidentally leaked the controllers, and no one noticed. While we're on the topic of these posters, they have these strange tarot cards on the bottom right. It's not really explained in the game, but they hint at some mythological mystery. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'd love to hear your theories below, as well as some of the mysteries you've noticed.